everyone, welcome to the Document December Stash Bash Hop. This is a hop put on by Gwen Wruck, who is the owner and creator of all of the gorgeous cut files that cut to you. I will be using this oak leaf cut file, and I have pulled my winter stash. So here is a fun story. I love winter almost as much as I love fall. So I generally end up using the collections that I buy, except for that paper, because those 2 sheets of 12 by 12 paper, because I hoard them. I've hoarded those papers for years. We're not going to use those today. So when I went through my winter stash, I really just had these couple of things, but that's okay because we are going to be backing the cut file with this gorgeous Cartabella paper from Let It Snow. How pretty. So I'm going to back the cut file, and I cut that cut file fairly large, which is going to work out perfectly because we are going to be documenting a winter photo in my traveler's notebook. So I live in a part of the United States in Pennsylvania where we have all 4 seasons. I have 2 boys, and so I used to have lots of pictures of them in the snow. Unfortunately, now that they are 20 and 14, they don't much like it when I make them take pictures in the snow. So now I have a gorgeous landscape and pictures of just what the world looks like in winter, because I think it's beautiful. So that's what we're going to document today. So for me, documenting December means snow. It means winter, means cold or cozy times. So what I'm going to do is I back to this cut file. I'm going to go ahead and use it large and big on my Traveler's Notebook spread. I don't want to use too much more in the way of pattern paper, but I do want to use some of these really cute die cuts. These are also from Cartabella Let It Snow. This is an older collection. It has to be at least 2 or 3 years old. And so I just grabbed those 3 because I thought that those 3 die cuts and this frame would adequately convey the idea that I wanted to put into this Traveler's Notebook, which was cold, frosty December weather. I am going to start by taking a bone folder and kind of creasing the cut file where the break is in the Traveler's Notebook, where the binding is. And what I've done is that when I backed this cut file, I added more glue than was necessary. I glued in each of these little sheets of paper, and I made sure everything was glued in really tight so that when I did this, it didn't break apart or fall apart or have issues. So now that I've cut the cut file in half, and you can always cut your cut files in half. You don't even have to back them first if you don't want to. I'm going to go ahead, piece it together, and put each part of this into either side of the spread. Just going to glue this down, my Kikoya tape runner, and you can see what a huge, gorgeous statement piece that makes on my Traveler's Notebook. I almost don't want to add the picture because it turned out beautiful. This is the oak leaf cut file, which I love because you can print it really big like I did here. You can print it really small. You can print it it's delicate and lovely, and I just love it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my tape runner, get my cut file into my Traveler's Notebook, and then we can start to kind of add our photo and embellish, but we're not going to embellish much, just a little bit. This photo was printed at 5x7, and then I trimmed it down. So it's actually like 4x7, which I find to be 4x7 or 4x8, I think is a fabulous size photo for a Traveler's Notebook spread. Usually if you do 4x8, you're going to get like a full page photo, which you've seen me do and I love, but I went with printing this one at home. I have this little piece of fun kind of textury trim. I just have that little bit of it, and I thought it would work really well just as a little bit of extra behind my photo. And then I also covered the bottom of the photo, which was all just white from the snow, with a frame. I'm going to fill that frame with some of these die cuts as I continue on with my spread. So that bit of texture or trim does add a little bit of bulk to my Traveler's Notebook spread, which I'm totally cool with. I wasn't worried about the bulk at all. I don't mind Chunky Monkey spreads, and as long as my notebook is stitched and not stapled, it's totally cool with me. All right, I am going to go ahead and figure out where I want these die cuts to be. So I thought that it would be nice to have die cuts that said things like snow day, let's snuggle, things that really did actually make me think of December, what we do in December where I live. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some glue to the back of my photo and get my photo in. I decided to use glue because I have all that texture up in the top, and I want to make very sure that the glue was going to stick to that kind of trim. That little bit of trim was part of a Redefined Creative curated kit that came years ago, probably the first year. You can see here I did have to add a little bit more glue to a good bit of glue to that textured area because it was really hard to get something to kind of stick to it. But in the end, I made it work and it did stick quite well. I'm also going to add a little bit of foam tape just to the bottom here. This is a thin foam tape, so it's not going to add a lot of bulk or dimension. It just adds enough that my photo isn't going to bow from the texture over on this side. So I went ahead and added my die cuts straight onto my photo, and then I am going to add some snow to my oak leaf cut file. So what I am using, in case you want to add snow to a layout this winter, here is the easiest, best way to do it, in my humble opinion. Grab yourself some Nuvo stone drops. You want the stone drops, and you want them in chalk white. And you are just going to gloop that stuff all over. It's going to come out like runny. Not runny. How do I put this? Like, it's going to look smooth and like a Nuvo drop when you put it on, but just glop it on there. Because when it dries, it's going to dry back and it's not going to have that nice smooth texture. It's going to have this bumpy, snowy, beautiful texture. You'll see it in the close-ups. But I went a little crazy. So I kind of thought to myself about snow falling on trees and how the snow kind of lays on the trees, and that's what I wanted. So I'm using a heavy hand with these Nuvo drops. I'm doing it so that they're kind of gloppy and not even, not perfect. If it smudges a little bit, that makes it, this is like the only time in your life where smudging your Nuvo drops is going to add to the snowy look of your layout. The messier you are with those Nuvo drops, the better. Now, I was looking at my design and I wanted just something a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and use these sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps. These are the Cold Days Ahead sequin mix. And I'm just going to add some of these beautiful, there are these kind of large snowflake sequins in this mix. And I thought that it would be perfect just to add in these little spots around my layout to really enhance and get that snowy, glittery feel to it. I think that's what I was missing. Even my photo, you can kind of see how the sun is shining through the trees, and it's really kind of that snowy, glittery type of feel. So I knew I wanted that in my layout too. So I'm just going to add some of these sequins to some of the different areas, being super, super careful because my Nuvo drops. I've already put the Nuvo on there, and like I said, we've got thick, snowy, gloopy Nuvo drops, and I didn't want to ruin the look. But I also totally wanted sequins. So I was just super duper careful, and it worked out really, really well. Once all of this dried, it turned out fabulous, and here are some close-ups for you to see. You can find information on the hop down below. Look how perfect that snow turned out. You can hop along all month long and see how other people document December and stash bash their supplies. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.